Welcome to another episode of the Cities Skylines Podcast, brought to you by Paradox Interactive and Sim Nation. My name is Pablo, and we are here with Jan. Hi, Jan.
Hello.
And I think this is the last, episode of Cities Skylines Podcast before the game comes out. But I still want to do this. I think we can still do it after the launch. I'm still doing it.
Yeah. We'll continue on. We might
so
focus
much
a bit
to
more
it.
on community.
Yeah.
We might focus a bit more on community. But there's always, more patch notes, more dev diaries,
Well, we can
more
talk about
expansions, more
best
DLCs.
practices.
There's so much.
Like how-tos, what else?
So much content we can produce. It's good. Will be good.
And
This is the last one before release. So the game releases in 2 weeks.
I can't believe it's so old already.
The shit is getting real.
Finally happening.
It's finally happening.
Whoa. So before we actually start, there is go ahead and you say it, Jan, because I get lost.
Okay. Today, if you're watching this today, very early, if you're in the States, very, very bloody early, and if you're in Europe, slightly less early. So if you're watching this before 6 p.m. Central European Time, 5 p.m. GMT, noon Eastern, and 9 a.m. Pacific, then make sure to head over to Reddit at the times I've just listed and check out the last developer AMA about Cities Skylines. And in case you've already, we're watching it a bit late, make sure to keep tuning in for us for the roundup.
Yeah, we're going to wrap up the best questions and sort of, give you a summary.
In a sort of lovely text form with pictures.
Of course. As always.
As always.
Yeah, that's on our website though. But yeah.
That's on our side. So head over to Simulation. We'll be getting that ready. Hopefully as quickly as I can after the AMA.
Yes. Thank you, Jan. So let's get started with the last week's Dev Diary, number 10, and probably the second last one, which is about themes. And Jan will tour you around them. There are 3 of them.
Yeah, it's probably the second last one. We're not really sure. There was a post over on forums of ParadoxPlaza.com about the AMA, and they said in there that there might be a Dev Diary before it. So I don't know.
Maybe it's happening now as you watch this. Who knows?
Maybe. We don't know. We didn't got this at the end.
We're in the past.
But yeah, we had a lovely Dev Diary about themes. Okay, I say lovely. It's because it looks pretty.
It does.
That's the only reason it's lovely. And it's just about that, about making the game pretty. So they kind of start off with talking about, how they want to make it pleasant from the north to the south. And they divided this pleasantness into 3 different themes. Mm-hmm. Or biomes, regions, whatever you want to call them. This does not affect the map. Mm-hmm. It's just a beauty thing. It doesn't affect...
It would seem to affect the terrain
somehow.
And trees and the sky dome, right?
Yeah. But it doesn't give you... huge deserts or stuff like that. At least not as far as we know.
Right.
So we're just going to start north from where Colossal Order is from, which is the Scandinavian Nordic countries, Canada, maybe the top north of the States, stuff like that. And this is kind of a slightly colder climate, which also means that they have a slightly colder sky color, as well as the grass is a bit darker and water is a bit darker. The majority of flowers and trees in this territory biome are kind of pine, conifer, Christmas tree kind of looking with needles, stuff like that. Stuff that would grow in slightly colder areas. There is some broadleaf trees like birch, oak, stuff like that, but they are very sparse.
And the grass looks kind of grayish, but I still think it looks good. Like it looks good.
That's kind of the not really tundra or permafrost grass, but it's kind of like northern grass, because it's always a bit darker, just because it can't produce as much chlorophyll, because not that much sun. I'm getting technical.
Grass is simulated. Yeah, and go on.
Yeah. From that, we kind of move into this sunny theme, which, if you look at the progression, if you kind of go down, it's kind of the northern one, or the northern European countries. This sunny one, as they call it, is kind of central Mediterranean area, which is kind of, the sun is a bit brighter and a bit more warm in color. The skies are a bit bluer, the clouds are a bit weird. And the color is also a bit more vibrant and a bit more lighter blue. The grass is a bit greener. And there's a lot more trees like alder, oak, birch, wide-leaf, broad-leafed trees. And a lot less kind of pine trees and needle trees.
I still insist the clouds are weird, but...
Yeah.
I really like this theme, but they're like... I think because I see the clouds and they're not white, they seem to be like sort of faded out. So
it's like, very strange, because in the northern theme, from what we see in the sky, there are no clouds, almost no clouds.
Yeah.
And then this one has really, you can really notice those bloody clouds.
Yeah, they're very noticeable.
Yeah.
But I think the sky seems to be very, very dark instead of like a strong blue.
Yeah, it's slightly bluish, but not as... It's kind of... It's hard to hit that theme, right? Because the skies are different depending on where in the globe you are. You can just move, from one country to another, just slightly like 100 kilometers north, and the sky will look completely different in the same kind of conditions. So this is kind of a generalization of this kind of Mediterranean Central Europe style, which is okay. But I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start in that theme. I've already decided. That's gonna be my starting theme. Ooh. My sunny, because I'm Mediterranean, kind of Mediterranean Central European. It's kind of like, it reminds me of home.
Aww.
And the last theme is if you move further north, not north south.
No, south.
That's the one south. To kind of like the Caribbean. California, if we're talking Europe, kind of like Canaries. I would say Northern Africa, but that's quite desert. And it's called the tropic theme.
I like it. It's
the sky,
palm trees, and I love palm trees. I like I'm a palm trees addict. I see palm trees, I go like, oh, palm trees. And probably because just palm trees, I may actually start with this, because I really like the sunny one.
Yeah, but it's that kind of like... It's kind of like palm trees, sandy beaches, slightly, more orangish, warmer sky. This really kind of tropical colored water. It's just, it's your outdoor retreat area.
My God, that roof has a lot of detail on it. I was just looking at it, like, oh my! Can I zoom in that even more? Yes. Look at that. That is like it's not just like the amount of lines that you see, but also you see the variation, like on the like it was wow. I cannot even talk. Look at this. Wow. Anyway, yes, themes.
Yeah. So yeah, that and this theme has some broadleaf trees, but not as many as the kind of sunny theme. Mm-hmm. It's more tropical, and the rest of the flora is also a bit more tropical. You might see a bit more cacti or kind of low palm trees, ferny things. But yeah, it's that those are the themes. There's 3 right now. These are, I am guessing, moddable into the game. So I'm pretty sure after release you'll see a bunch more.
Like, people could make more themes, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I think they actually said people can just make more of them. I don't know if there is going to be actually like a tool, or you're going to have to sort of do some trickery to that, but they said that yes, you can actually...
While we're on the topic of terrain and kind of map modes, there's been already, if you're on the Cities Skylines Reddit, people are already importing height maps. So there's a height map for Sydney. I think there's one for New York.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Bunch of height maps
because they support it.
Yeah, because you just import it into the game, it generates
that'd
the
be,
terrain.
like,
You
really
might need
cool.
to fix it a bit, but
Is there any way? Yeah, you actually need to fix it, because if you have like slightly different like slopes all over the place, it's just gonna make it really hard for you to build on them. So you have to sort of smooth the terrain and sort of, make it a little bit more plain, if you may, and less bumpy. But
there's already height maps in there.
is there any way to sort of like take a portion, like just go anywhere I want, give you coordinates out of Google Maps or Apple Maps, whatever, and just say, hey, give me the terrain level for this area, and just, is there a way to do that?
I guess.
That'd be great.
Sure.
Like I would just get my area and just build my city,
Yeah.
Like that'd be cool. Just, I got a big river, so I got a starting point.
Yeah, I'm not really going to talk about it, but there's already websites available for height maps.
Yeah?
There's just websites. Let's see. We have San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have? San Francisco. Scroll. There's like 17 copies of it. Seattle.
San Fran. I would do San Fran. I like San Fran.
Sydney.
Horrible weather, beautiful city, I gotta say.
There's a bunch of test ones, which I don't know what they are. But yeah, there's already a few. I think there's also New York, stuff like that. There was screenshots. The game plays beautifully on a 21:9 aspect ratio screens. That was posted by Totalimo, John.
Super like wide.
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
One of those I am planning on buying.
Yeah, my bigger concern is like if it gets too big, like the UI, like it happened to me also in SimCity when I went like full screen. The UI was fairly small, and I could not really tell how much money I had. I had to actually pay attention a lot to the bottom bar, and
we don't see it in that particular screenshot. There's just a screenshot kind of without the UI, so
right,
it looks pretty.
Yeah,
it looks pretty.
That is cool.
Very, very pretty.
Awesome. Yeah, actually, the game seems to be performing really well. Like everybody's saying that the performance seems to be really good, and I guess we all really have to wait to just get our hands on it. Like
we'll see, because we also haven't seen gigantic cities yet.
Yeah, also, and it's all being ParadoxCon computers, so I don't know what they have there.
Also, while we're on the topic of ParadoxCon, there was an interview with Marina. I can't pronounce her last name. I'm very, very sorry, Marina. It's something starting with H. It's Finnish. I cannot pronounce Finnish names for the life of me.
And I call her Polish.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
The only one I can say is Hautameki.
Marina Halikainen.
Yeah,
She's gonna hate
be
that.
the one.
Just getting worse and worse.
Yeah. Anyways, if you watched this before, the Polish girl. But there was an interview with her, and I think Totally Moo was there, so John and Queratin and Rumba, I believe. Don't take my word for it, because I don't quite remember who of the YouTubers was there. But there was a video about an hour long that was part of the live stream. It's already up on a bunch of channels. I know Quill has it up. I think Rumba has it up as well. I think it's also on Paradox Extra or Paradox Interactive, one of their channels. I suggest you go watch it. They answer some questions. It's a nice discussion about the game, and they show off parts of the game and stuff like that.
There's
also,
I'd like to add something, because there's like one mistake from Marina that then they corrected, and it seems to spawn like a big discussion afterwards. So just clear it out in case you go watch the video. She says that commercial buildings do not employ people, and then they went ahead and corrected it. Yes, commercial buildings do employ people. They just don't employ as many as an office or an industry does. But don't freak out. Yes, they do employ just some amount of the population. So yeah.
We're just gonna count it to nerves.
Just so people don't keep freaking out.
It's a simple mistake.
Yeah,
but they correct. There's another new piece of news that came out of ParadoxCon. The DLC model is going to follow the model of Crusader Kings 2 in EU4. So huge free patches with a bunch of content. Then you can buy the DLC, but it's not necessary.
Yeah, and it would seem that actually, even if I never promote pre-orders, it would seem that Cities Skylines got a lot of pre-orders, like almost record within Paradox. So I mean,
if I'm not mistaken, it is a record pre-order.
It is already.
Mm.
So I mean, if that is the case, like that is a good sign, because it means that they're just going to put a lot of attention and keep following up the game even more than what they would have initially. I mean, if the game just does so well, it is just natural to just keep putting more effort on it. So that is actually a great
Plus,
sign.
I would like to point out, Paradox likes to support their older games.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they do.
Crusader Kings 2 is 3 years old. They're still developing new content for it, still fixing old stuff that's broken, still working on it after 3 years. While a lot of other companies would just go and make a sequel. I was gonna mention it. But yeah, so
No,
a bunch of YouTubers also got to play the game for like an hour at ParadoxCon. And they have videos out, so if you want to check those out, Mathis Games has one, I think the Solar Gamer has one, Quill18 has one, Arumba has one, and they're all kind of the same-ish,
Yeah,
but they
at the
provide
beginning.
their own thoughts of it.
Yeah.
It's like an hour of gameplay. You can't really get into the game in an hour. But their own views on it are very interesting to listen to. I've watched all of them, because I have to.
Yeah. Each will say something that the other one didn't, so.
Yeah. And each has kind of their own way of doing it. So it's interesting to watch.
Yeah.
But I would go watch those if you want more content and you can't wait for the game to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool.
That was ParadoxCon.
That was ParadoxCon. That was nice. Yeah.
Please
So,
invite us next year. We really want to come, please.
at least you're close to it. Right?
Well, you want to come over too.
Sure, but I'm so broke. Like, going there, it would be just okay. I have, I don't know, 2 kidneys. I could give up one and just pay for the trip. But
I'm a bit closer. I can go by train, almost.
Right.
And in a boat a bit.
I need to at least 1 plane and a train, or 2 planes. So.
Well, 2 planes.
Yeah, by the time I'm like at Spain, it's like 10 hours of trip.
I have like 2 hours.
And then it's just
I think it's
Spain.
2 or 3 hours.
So yeah. Anyways, moving on. What else? We don't really have much more, but we do have the community topics that we like to talk about, and those are basically threads in the forums that has spawned some kind of interesting discussion. We like to bring them up and sort of give out our own opinions on them. So you want to get started, Jan?
Wait, why don't you start with yours? I've already done a lot of talking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. All right, so we're gonna jump on the one I kind of found interesting. It's
Aliens!
Aliens! Nah, we're not aliens. Maybe. This is one that actually, it's not new. And it's not a new topic, but it just spawned like pages and pages of...
And it's not a new discussion.
No, basically it's, why is there no night and day cycle? The text reads also no tunnels, but by the way, tunnels, they say that is something that would come down eventually down the road later, no pun intended, after the launch of the game. But
Yeah, it's
I also like to highlight, why even have electricity during the day? I mean, I don't know how you brought this if you don't have electricity during the day, but I'm not going to judge you.
How you're
Now,
following any of the news during any time of the day, or how you talk to anyone on the phone, or do anything literally.
yeah, I guess the battery could be a solution, but once the battery runs out, like, you're done. So, but that is just something fancy I like to point out from that. But that is it. From the actual discussion that it just goes on for like about 4 pages. I think really, for summing up everything that I read here and a little bit of my own, like day and night cycle, that is something that they say they will look into. Like they have not dismissed it, just will look into past release. That means you have to deal a lot with how the city looks during the night. That is a whole different deal of like what you have to do with the lighting, and just adding a bunch of very like spot light effects everywhere, like all the light stops and all the street lights and etc., and the sun moving, and that is a lot of effort, right? So it's not like this simple. And Also, you have to make all the buildings light up correctly and in a way that it kind of makes sense, and it's not always the same lights and yada yada yada. But I mean, some actually say the opposite. Say like, I don't want day-night cycle. I rather play a game without it. And I think actually in a city it is important, because if there's gonna be rush hour, it is good to be able to say, okay, it's, you know, the sun is rising. You're seeing all the cars just getting out, going to work. That is actually quite cool. It's hard to argue with it. That, you know, knowing when it's, you know, 7 a.m. and when it's like 6 p.m. later on, just cars just going back home. You can tell. You know it's happening. The only downside is that, of course, you have to go through an entire day to see that, and that can take a while, right? But so I don't know exactly how the game does rush hour without time, unless they have like an internal time they're just, you know, doing that they don't show.
No, because you have time in the game. You just don't get the visual of time.
Well, but days go by really fast, like bam, bam. Bam.
Yeah, when you're running it on full speed.
Yeah,
That's also another problem why there isn't a day-night cycle, because of the speed of the game runs at higher speeds. You would have an epileptic seizure within 3 seconds.
But actually, actually, what many games do, like an example SimCity did, is to sort of tie in the time, right, to like a whole day, make it a month for SimCity, because that's what worked for SimCity. So when an entire day would go by, that meant a month with like for longer term stuff. So like you could have like each hour to be a day, right? I know it kind of doesn't make sense, but that is really the only way you can have both without like going epileptic strike just for playing the game. So like it does have its downside, because you can go full realism right there.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you don't need it. Like, it's lovely that you have that.
No, you clearly don't need it, because you can play this game.
It's something that I know they said they will look into it after release. Like, I know they want to put it in, but it's just one of those things that they sacrificed to work on other things. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind that there isn't a day-night cycle. I mean, yes, a little bit, because I don't know, I do want to take lovely pictures of my town at night. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But it's at the same time, I'm like, well, fine. Like, if there isn't one, I'll be fine. Like, the game still simulates, you know, passing of time. There is still probably some sort of simulation for rush hours. But there isn't that horrible. I mean, horrible. There isn't that horrible epileptic seizure you're going to have every time a day passes. But, you know, it's something they're working on, or something they will work out after release. At least they said they will look into it. So it might come, it might not come. In either case, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Also, tunnels, those, they said that are one of the top priorities after release.
Good. Well, because that is functionality. Day and night cycle is aesthetic, pretty much. It's barely functionality if you have some kind of simulation of time, even if you don't show it.
Yeah.
So, but tunnels is a functionality, and you may need it if you have a terrain with hills, right? So, but yeah, they'll deal with that. So, but yeah, like, just chill, guys. There's so much to the game. Like, so much.
Yeah, there's so much content already that you kind of have to understand. You kind of have to first be patient with them, and second of all, understand that they do want to do a lot of these things you want to have in the game. It's just an aspect of time and getting the things that are already in the game polished and making them work properly and working with the model. So, you know, sometimes you just have to be patient and wait for after release content.
Yeah.
And since they said it will follow the Crusader Kings 2 model, don't worry, you will get a shit ton of free game updates that will add an immense amount of stuff in the game for free.
Especially if it's the best pre-order sales ever in Paradox history. Anyway.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
So yeah,
from what I understand, it's sold the most as a pre-order, and it's not, you know what, honestly, it's not that expensive for a pre-order.
It's not an expensive pre-order. Maybe that helped, but yeah. Anyway, great game.
That's a game. It's really good.
Anyway, what else do we have?
We have, this is another aesthetic thing, and by now I'm pretty fucking known about them, because I keep talking about aesthetic things in the game. I don't give a crap about mechanics anymore. I just want it to look pretty. So my thing is bicycle roads. My thing is bicycle roads this week. Bicycle roads, if you live almost anywhere in Europe, you will know about, first of all, you'll know about bicycle lanes. These are these red lanes that are next to roads on part of the sidewalk, which are especially for bikes.
They're color-coded
if
red
you live
always?
in my part of the world, no one bloody uses them. They don't. Also, cyclists, for some reason in this part of the world, seem to think that they are the main traffic on the roads, that everyone else should abide by them, and I just think they should be shot. Anywho, bicycles, I don't think they're in the game right now. Apparently, skateboards are. But bicycles aren't. And this is one of the things that if you're running a green city, we use bicycles. We use bicycles a lot.
Yeah.
A good example of that is the Netherlands. I don't think anyone owns a car over there anymore. No, they do. But okay. And it's a dedicated road or a dedicated kind of path for bicycles, whether it be part of the road, as in a marking on the road where only bicycles can go, or whether it's its own thing that's only devoted to bicycles. There's some lovely pictures in the thread. It's another one of those aesthetics. Like, I can't remember which game it was, but it had bus lanes. No, it was Cities in Motion 2. Cities in Motion 2 had this kind of system of bus lanes where there would be lanes in the road dedicated to buses, and this is the same thing except for bikes.
Right.
And then you could have an upgrade of this of what the British call the Boris bike, or what we call the city bike, which is a huge bike. These are bike stations where you can rent a bike in the city and drive around it, and you just pop it and just park it at any empty station. Doesn't matter. You don't need to take it back to the original one, but it's kind of public bikes. So you could upgrade that and add it as part of public transportation, which would then, influence, and maybe people in slightly wealthier areas would use them or stuff like that. This was all discussed.
I think that is something that could be totally added, like later on, like an additional. If you want to have cities with this, or maybe a free patch, if you may. But who knows? But maybe paid or free. But it sounds like something that could be added, especially if
in a sort of a public transportation DLC.
Yeah, like green DLC, right?
Green DLC, yeah.
So people can have home gardens for fruits and whatnot.
I think they already do.
What?
I think they already do. I'm not sure.
There is a policy. What was it? District and policy. It was a policy.
I don't know. I think buildings just randomly generate them as they go. I'm not quite sure anymore.
Maybe they're just aesthetic, but there's no thing maybe
But yeah, something like that. They did say they do want to add more public transportation into the game. It's one of the things they kind of want to look into. Which I would say yes, because they're good at it. I mean, their first two releases were all about public transportation.
They kind of
Granted,
know about
I wouldn't like it in. I mean, I personally would love it in that depth of simulation.
We will go crazy.
A lot of people wouldn't.
Right.
But, something more, because we currently have buses and we have metros and we have rail.
For trains?
Yeah. But, we're missing trams and trolley buses and
there could
bike
be some
lanes,
extra fancy things.
Monorails. I don't know. There's always options.
Yeah.
City builders always have. As long as they don't come out with a future-looking city DLC.
And they'll have the maglev.
Oh no, I'm fine with the maglev. Just I'm just not gonna say anything. I'll just be quiet.
Good yarn. That is pretty much it for this episode of the Cities Skylines Podcast. As always, if you're watching this on the City Nation side, make sure you check out Paradox Extra channel. It's a link on the description below. And if you're watching this on the Paradox Extra channel, of course, check us out. There's a link to our channel, City Nation TV, also in the description below. And also check out our website,
We'll have content
citination.tv.
about Cities Skylines.
Oh, what?
And we'll have content about Cities Skylines as soon as it comes out.
Oh yeah, we want to make sure we put out like all the guides and how to like we love to make that we done
And
already
let's
for the
play
games
it.
for this. Like
We'll do
we're really excited about this game. So yeah. And it
I've
feels
already
like
convinced him that I can do Hearts of Iron 4 too. So if you want to check that out, I'll have that.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be doing that, huh? Cool. Paradox slightly invading the simulation content. It's cool. It's cool. It's a great company.
I came on board, and now we're slowly taking over.
Yes.
But yeah. So yeah, we have all this content to make sure to check us out.
Yeah. And that'll be it. And as always, as we say on the beginning, and this time we'll say at the end, all opinions are ours, not Paradox. So do not take it as official or theirs. And besides that, yes, that has been all for this week. Make sure to check us out next week for the next episode in 2 weeks for the release of Cities Skylines. My name was Paulo. He is John, and we'll see you next time. Oh, this is the most satisfying thing ever. We are God in SimCity 4. Wow, that was loud. Oh, you're gonna eat that, huh? You're gonna eat it. I see. What? Nothing. Okay.
And now she is tossing that salad with her... Stop sticking your finger in your ear! Alright, she's tossing the salad with her earwax.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
It does it really well. Okay.
Oh, they're coming for you, Pablo!
Shit,
Run!
Oh, yeah. These road trips, man, are killing me. Anyway, let me know whenever we are recording. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Extended Play. I'm your host, this is Stuart, and that is a fancy, fancy sign. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.